Hey everybody, I'm out here in the greenhouse and I'm going to be transplanting some pepper plants. I got these store-bought pepper plants and I'm going to transplant them right in the cups they come in into 5-gallon buckets. 5-gallon bucket was good for a pepper plant, worked good last year. You do have to top it off about once a week when it's full grown. But yeah, it worked out good, so I'm going to do those in the 5-gallon buckets. I've got some tomatoes up here that I want to put into 5-gallon buckets too. One in each 5-gallon bucket. And the 5-gallon bucket seems good for the tomatoes. You do have to refill them. So if I find something bigger, I may pop them in. It's easy to transplant in the hydroponic system because basically you're just lifting up this net cup and dropping it into whatever you want, whatever new container you want. And with these in the little plastic cups, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop the plant out so that I can take my soldering iron and just run some slits down here with the soldering iron and put another big hole or two in the bottom. And then I'll just cut my bucket lid. I think I already have one from last year that takes this size, and just drop it in. Make sure the nutrient level comes up to just touch this a little bit. And that's it. Easy transplant. Okay, so I'm going to pop one of these bell pepper plants out of the cup so that I can go make some bigger holes in the cup. And then I'll pop this back in the cup, and then we'll get ready to do the hydroponic solution. I think it's better to do this when they're a little bit on the dry side to get them out of this in one piece. Alright, so that's not really enough holes for the roots to come through for hydroponics, so we're going to fix that. Okay, so I got my soldering iron and it's been heating up for a few minutes, so I'm just gonna, it should go right through this pretty easy. I think I want a bigger hole here. And we want some slits. So I've got my master blend fertilizer out here, and I'm gonna mix that up. So I always do the calcium nitrate first, and I do everything the simple way. I'm not measuring parts per million, pH, or anything like that. My water must be pretty good because I've been successful. This is the calcium nitrate, and we're going to do 2 teaspoons calcium nitrate, 2 teaspoons master blend 4-1838, and we're going to do 2 teaspoons of Epsom salt. But what you want to do though is you want to really dissolve one at a time. So I brought a, I have a spatula that I use. Stir this up. What is also a good idea, I didn't do that tonight, but you can get a small jar or container with a little bit of warm water and dissolve your nutrients in just a cup or two of water, of warm water. They'll dissolve a little better, and then you could just pour that into the bucket and add water up to the fill line, which should be this line right there. Okay, so now I'm going to test the container in the hole I made in the bucket lid. I measured this this across, and then I made my circle just a tiny bit smaller, so it should fit in the bucket lid hole. And then we also want to look at the nutrient level in here before we put the plant in. We want it coming up about a quarter or a half inch onto this container here. So we'll go take a look at that. Here I've got my lid, and it looks like the fit is good. Holds right in there. So once we snap our lid down, what we want to do is we want to see about a quarter inch of solution coming into this cup. So what I've got there is probably, looks like about a half inch of water coming in. Okay, so we got about a quarter inch in there. Now I'm just going to grab that plant and pop it in. And this soil was kind of dry anyway, so. And there you have it. This did very well for me last year, the peppers in the 5-gallon buckets. So you can see we have some little peppers just getting started there. So it won't be long. And today I'm going to be transplanting this this tomato plant that I started in a peat pellet and dropped it into a net cup, dropped the net cup into a half-gallon mason jar, and now it's grown out to this size, and we have some cherry tomatoes here. And it's about time to put it into a bigger container. So I'm going to just cut this string I have for supporting it. And basically, let's see if I can adjust this camera so I can pick this up. And we're just going to put this right into the bucket. Now I am going to need to do some staking up here, and I think I'll trim it a little bit. Okay, so there it is, and its new little I got these like folding wire trellises, and they work really well for the buckets. It just kind of hooks together. You can see that one isn't quite hooked, but I can crimp these over. Now one thing I wanted to make sure that I told you all, because we have this in a passive hydroponic setup and the plant is relying on its oxygen needs from the roots that are suspended above the solution. So if we had an air stone in here, we could fill our entire bucket up with solution pretty much, and the air stone would provide the oxygen to the roots. But in this case, we have roots that go down into the solution, which are our water roots, and then we have roots above the solution, which are where the plant takes oxygen. So you want about a third of the roots above the solution. So I've got my bucket filled up about 2/3. So you can see in there, you want to make sure that your roots are getting in there and they never run out of being able to reach the solution. But you also want at least, you know, plants differ on how much air space they need. I would say I could have went a little higher than this, and it will drink pretty quickly as it grows. But I would say a good rule of thumb is you want about a third of the container empty at the top. And that should be it. Now I shouldn't have to check on that plant as far as solution goes for quite a while. Well, that's it for today, everybody. Happy growing.